Nice. We are speeding. Probably gonna get destroyed by mosquitoes out here. Here we are, man. There's a park near my neighborhood that's just kind of, I've always driven by and thought it was a bit vibey with the orange glow of the streetlights here. My neighborhood still has a lot of tungsten looking lights. They're all LED, but they look like tungsten, like the similar color temperature to tungsten. Yeah, I don't know what to call these kind of videos, just rambles really. Nightly wanderings of the mind kind of thing. And it usually happens after, I don't know, lots of things, mostly me staying up super late at night multiple days in a row. I've been going to sleep after the sun rises, which is honestly really kind of debilitating on the old mental health, but I don't know, I have a really hard time doing anything else with my sleep schedule. It always kind of just moves that way. I think I do like the nighttime. It's like less direct stressors maybe, but it's like you still have all the stuff you have to do and all that pressure that comes with a normal day. It's just like not externally being put on you, which honestly can make it worse, because it's like, you're still just sitting with that, but you're not getting active response. So that's interesting, I guess. I was just thinking about walking over here, there's this one night that I was having a tough time, like I do sometimes, and decided to take a walk around the neighborhood for the first time in a while, and I was walking out, and my old middle school, I moved here the last, I guess, semester of 8th grade, so I was really only here for, this middle school for like a semester of 8th grade. Watching cars go by. I think some of them are looking at me. Yeah, but I was, only here for like a semester at the middle school, but it's within walking distance of my house, so I'll sometimes just walk out there and, listen to Silent Hill 2 music to kind of, that helps me out, even though it's kind of insane and seems like it should probably make things worse, but I don't know. And I was doing that, and there was a whole bunch of Magic, the trading card game cards littered across the street, and I was like, oh. And it kind of added magic, as you could say, and whimsy to that stroll. Turns out my buddy's friend was in the neighborhood and left his commander deck on the bed of his truck, and then drove off without closing the truck bed, so it went out everywhere. So I was able to get those back to him. They were kind of messed up a bit and didn't have sleeves on, so they were weird, but it was kind of a, just one of those things, one of those coincidences that made me feel like, maybe something is watching out for me. I was looking for something in this walk and trying to kind of get out of the trap I was in, and I stumbled upon literal magic, which is kind of interesting. But yeah. I like to go on night walks. I do that a lot. I think maybe I've talked about this in one of these rambly videos, but there's something about being up and walking around when nobody else is around. It kind of feels like, in a way it feels like the whole world is empty and yours, You're the only perceiver of what's going on, which kind of, less pressure or stress, because there's no outside forces that are like, watching you or anything, but it's like, those don't really bother me anyway, but it's fun to go for walks. Everything's a little bit more mysterious in the dark time, and it's interesting. It's fun. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, just been having a rough go at it. Just maybe something to do with the weather going cooler, even though I was really hoping it would after how hot the summer was here. And even the fall was really hot up through you know, just up to Halloween, really. But even then, it's like just kind of weird. I still kind of maybe have a hard time during the winter, and I also have a hard time during the summer. I think kind of I just have a hard time sometimes, for sure. And there are times where I go back to being chilling and things are good, you know, but it does happen a decent amount that I'm just in a weird spot, and a lot of it's self-induced of like, you know, if I'm putting myself out there and doing a lot of stuff and I'm like around other people, it does help, but it's like, that's not what you want to do when you're not doing well. You want to, you know, become really introspective and inward and yeah, and it's, you know, interesting and kind of fun to do that too, and to try to, not fun necessarily, but sometimes helps kind of just think through where you're at and what's going on, and trying to kind of let it be something that kind of grows with you and you are maybe able to learn some from. But also just means you're going in cycles in your head and not really doing anything that is necessarily going to help you out. And man, everything's just weird. It has been really, you know, all the time things are changing and weird and strange, and you know, I'm pretty freshly out of college, so it's definitely a time of a lot of things just moving around and a little bit time for wandering and not being super sure and kind of just checking things out and whatever. But it, you know, ever since, really, I mean, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, dude. COVID was kind of fucked up. You know, I didn't get a graduation, so it's like that part of my life just kind of like stopped, and then you know, you just stopped going to high school one day. You know, it was supposed to be for a few weeks, and then it turned to something much longer, and there were so many people that were affected worse than I was, really. Certainly, of course. Yeah, but still, you know, just that whole weirdness of COVID, and now the insanity of global politics, which is always, you know, pretty dang bizarre. But things are at a peaking level of bizarre right now. Bizarre right now, you know, and bad. Things are bad, for sure. And again, it's like I'm not directly influenced by that as much as other people, for sure. But it still just all leads to this sense of you know, unreality and derealization. It's very easy to derealize in a world that, you know, is constantly completely insane. You know, it's hard to maintain self-sanity when it feels like the world you're living in is just full of the most cartoonish shenanigans and levels of evil that should be gone. And you know, and this isn't necessarily going to be a super political talk, but everything kind of is in its own way. But I've been, you know, I've been thinking some in this darn United States I'm in. I've been thinking about, you know, Nazis and fucking how they're, you know, they're always kind of around. It's like, you know, there's lots of different names for that group. But, you know, people that just think that other groups of people are below them. And, you know, outside of that, it's really a, you know, in America right now, it's people that have immigrated, and honestly just has always kind of been non-white people, which again, I'm white. So I don't know what I'm doing here talking about my feelings and all this, but, you know, there's, and fascism, I guess, is really what I'm thinking about, and totalitarianism. You know, it's like you watch Star Wars and you watch Indiana Jones and you play, you know, video games and Wolfenstein and you know, just interact with all this media over and over and over about how horrible this group is and how you just gotta kill Nazis, man. You just gotta freaking kill them. And a big part of that group, the Nazis in Germany, was totalitarianism and, really dictatorship. Makes me think about, I'm not religious, just never was born that way, not really. I deal with spiritualism for sure, but not in a strictly religious sense. But thinking about, the Antichrist, I was watching a video by Windigoon about Nero of the Roman Empire, and how a lot of the, text of the Antichrist lines up with him, and it certainly lines up with, Trump for sure. But just these levels of people that sell lots of people on the idea that they can make their lives better and then make them worse, and the people that say, the fault is not with us, the people that benefit from all this, but of your neighbors and your brothers and your the people that are part of your group, but they're not. They're the external. They're immigrants, or they're people that look different, or they're a small group that can't defend themselves most of the time. Is really the whole point. And there's like, it's their fault. It's so evil, man. Putting people against each other over stuff that's just like not how it be. But anyway, I'm again not a super intellectual political speaker here. I'm just going through stuff, but it does, people were talking about the rapture a whole ton. There was similar things when the Mayan calendar ended in 2012, and I wasn't there for Y2K, but those kind of vibes. It's like we keep, people do continuously throughout history keep setting times that are like, these are the end times, but it's like, it do feel that way sometimes. It does sometimes feel like the crumbling and collapse of society. I was been getting hit with lots of, gambling ads and all that kind of stuff, which I don't partake, but it's like, that's just a big thing, is online gambling, so they're trying to advertise to me. And there's this one for a site where you can put down bets on anything really, which is insane. But one of them was, who's going to be the next president, and in the ad, I saw it on Reddit, and the ad was like whatever it was, like 28% JD Vance, 22% Gavin Newsom, and 8% Donald Trump, dude. You're telling me 10% of the people voting there just think democracy is dead. They think the institutions of this country are dead. And it feels that way. There's been so many insane things that happen on a weekly basis that, a decade ago even would pause the news and blow up. And that's happening weekly now. And it's like, at this point, so much insane things happen all the time that it's like, it's, and how things have been spoken about, and the power that the right is trying to show off and stuff. It feels, it feels possible, unfortunately, that our President Trump would try to go for a third term, when that's, goes against everything that this country exists upon. And apparently 10% of people are betting on that. You can bet on the downfall of the United States of America. You can bet on that. You can make money on the downfall of society in this country. It's fucked, man. That's kind of ridiculous and kind of, this is the wrong word, but it's kind of epic, man. It's kind of epic to live in a country where you can gamble on and try to make money on the fall of your own country. It's freaking ridiculous. Yeah, but I don't know. I created that teddy bear short film you might have seen on the channel. Is for my friends and I do a show called Big House TV, where we just do short films and like bumpers and anchor segments, and we're doing it monthly. So last episode was a Halloween episode, which was a lot of fun, and I did sound on a few of my friends' projects, and then I created and acted in the bear incident, which was a lot of fun. It's always really fun to do short films, and that was an idea I had like with my brother. I talked about it like 4 or 5 years ago, and it kind of stemmed partially from we were at Goodwill and I found like a 4 foot tall teddy bear that was like, you know, a couple bucks. So I was just like, man, we can make some kind of short film or something creative with this. And I got it, and it's been sitting in my closet for 4 years or 5 years. And just this last couple weeks, I finally made that film. And part of the film is dissecting the teddy bear, so of course it got demolished. It's a little funny. Actually, the end of the film, we were shooting at a park near my house, and we had the whole teddy bear, and at that point I had to behead it because I wear the teddy bear's like head. It's part of my like character thing, part of the horror. It's a horror film kind of. But you know, then you have a whole just teddy bear body with tons of fluff and no head, and so no head. So we just put it at that park. There was a little trash bin, mostly for like your animal's poop that you can put in there, dog poop or whatever. And I stuffed the entire body of the teddy bear in there. I'm sure some unfortunate victim had to deal with bagging that thing up, and I probably kind of messed with them some. It was before Halloween. It was kind of my like Halloween trick. But it was probably just inconvenient and annoying to somebody's life. But it's funny, I guess. But yeah, that teddy bear was this huge 4 foot lanky stuffed guy that was up in my closet staring out at me for the last 4 years. Whenever I had the closet door open, you could see him sitting up in my closet staring at me. So kind of crazy to have him, or it, I can't, it's crazy I went to him first, that thing out of my room after being there so long. It's kind of wacky. I thought about dissecting it for a film for years, and then I did it. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of messed up for him, for that teddy bear, you know. He's existing in my closet for plenty of years just chilling, and then little did he know that his days were numbered. And I wonder what he was up to before he was donated to Goodwill, you know. I don't know. You never know what people, you know, maybe he was a big gift for like a high school Valentine's Day or something, because nothing shows you love somebody forever like a huge, massive, inconvenient stuffed bear. Did people like that got those for high school? I mean, if you're with that person forever, I guess maybe you'd keep it, but it's like, do people just have those still? You know, let me know if you were ever gifted one of those, if you still have it just laying in your room somewhere. Comment below. Yeah. And I've got an opportunity for a short film with, I can't really say too much about it, but with a pretty big horror actor that's directing it, and so that means that the short film will be seen by a lot of people because they have a fan base already existent that will be able to see it, and they've got connections with people in Hollywood, so you know, it's possible that it'll be viewed by a larger group of people, and it's very exciting, but it's, you know, it's kind of stressful too, having that kind of stuff come up. I'm ready for it for sure. I'm definitely like, it feels like a this could be it moment, which is really exciting. But it's tough when so many other things are going on too, you know. Doing that monthly show with my friends is just a big time commitment and effort and creative energy, which is really fun, but it is a lot of time for sure too. And I'm still trying to stick with my job, which I don't go into the office a whole ton, so that saves me some time in the day, but it's still, I'm, you know, working on projects for that all the time. And it's weird when I'm like, feel like I can't fully give myself into that when I'm working on so many other things, which is, you shouldn't put all of yourself into a job, but like, you know, it'd feel good to just be like, this is the thing I do, and then I just chill outside of that. But all these creative projects, which is very fun and it's a hobby kind of thing, and you shouldn't just be working and doing nothing else kind of thing, but you know, I spend a lot of my creative energy in so many different things for sure. Can't, which you don't have to, but I can't definitely decide one thing to just be like, that's the thing I do. which I don't think anybody can or should, but it's a little bit more fulfilling or maybe more relaxing if you do. But yeah, I don't know. Don't have too many crazy things to talk about, really. I'm just tired a lot, man. I don't sleep till it's morning, and then I sleep through the whole day, and I don't see too many people except a bit at night, and only for a few hours. Majority of the time, I'm just spending the wee hours of basically the morning just on my bed watching stuff or reading stuff or just thinking and playing video games and stuff, and it's just kind of a bit of a bummer sometimes. And I don't know, life is just really weird, man. The normalcy of week to week and day to day existence has changed so much every year for the last like 5 years that it's like, I don't even know how to function, it feels like sometimes. And I'm like so enamored with the idea of living in New York City or going somewhere else, because it's like just my day to day existence. I feel like I fall into here a decent amount of time is just not great. But it's like, I don't know if that would change being in a different physical location. It's such a mental thing to be a part of, but I don't know. Maybe I just need to like try therapy or something. Maybe that'd help me unlock some things in my brain. Probably would help some. Could look into that for sure. But it also just, and this is a common thing. It's not. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. But feelings of like, I feel bad all the time. Oh man, I'm doing is playing tons of video games and staying home all the time. It's just like, boo hoo, man. Oh man, your life sucks. You play video games all the time and stay up. I'm living a 10-year-old's dream. And it's like, but it's still okay to be like, not feeling good. Everybody feels not good, and that can be valid, and the only way to treat it is if you, you know, um, appreciate it as being real. But it is hard sometimes to feel like I should reach out for help and try to figure stuff out when it's like, I don't have a right to feel that way, it feels like sometimes, which again, I know is not true, but that is how it feels for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Watched Hereditary again last night, and my girlfriend had never seen it before, so it was fun to watch it with her. But what a messed up movie, man. A messed up movie. Definitely makes you feel like, man, at least I don't have that going on. At least that's not my day to day. But damn, dude, it's a tough one to watch. It's a tough one. Tell you that. It's great, but it's not fun, And that's kind of good for horror sometimes, but like, I don't know. I don't know if this was interesting.